Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. This is another real estate market update from around the country and in your town. This segment's being brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where professionals and entrepreneurs publish to grow their businesses and to leave a legacy. Joining me on the call today, we're in the Chicagoland area, my own backyard. Joining me is Terri Theodore. She's a real estate broker based out of Lemont, Illinois. Terri, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So Terri, tell us a little bit about your particular business and the types of folks that you specialize in helping.
Thank you for having me. Yes, I grew up in the city, so I know the city well, but I live in the suburbs. So I do both, but I focus mostly on the western suburbs in the 355 corridor. They call that the Heritage Corridor, but I pretty much go everywhere. So.
Right on. So tell us, the question that's on everybody's mind, of course, is the pandemic and how it's affected real estate. And people kind of want to know around the country, how has the pandemic, this recent pandemic, affected your area in the Chicagoland area here of real estate?
Well, it's you would think that it would scare people away and being so uncertain and worries and fears, but it actually has done the opposite. The market right now is stronger than ever. We're seeing only about a 1 to 3 months supply of homes, which in the past it could be as high as 12 to 14 months. So people are buying homes like more than ever. So I think having the home price right and people, their needs are changing. They're finding themselves kind of stuck at home or working from home or learning from home. So their needs are changing. So I see a lot of people getting into the market that normally would be kind of slower to the market.
It seems like a lot of opportunity now, especially with like lower interest rates and that. But as you mentioned, you've got sort of a lower inventory out there. So is that the biggest driving factor that you're hearing now from folks, changes of priorities, or what are you hearing the reasons why people are buying or selling today?
Well, some interesting statistics I seen the other day. Right now, 10,000 people a day are turning 65. So that demographic of people are thinking about making a move or selling, and the buyers that are out there are they're kind of pent up because there's such a little amount of inventory, and they need to be, they're looking at homes for different reasons right now, and the sellers are looking at it in a different sense as well too.
So today, what's changed? Are people doing more viewing of homes virtually, or is it business as usual? What's it been
Uh,
like?
no, it's virtual. It's more people than ever have their smartphone on their person, so they're looking at homes. They're online in the middle of the night since they're not working or they're working at home. I think they are. Um, I still do all virtual. I still all do in-person showings, and people that want to buy, it seems like they're not as worried about the pandemic as it seems on the news. But yeah, they're going in person to see homes. They're much more focused, I think, and that's what I try to focus them into seeing where do they want to go, what type of home versus, and they know that because they have the ability to have it in their hand with their smartphones.
I'd imagine people shopping today are more serious and they're not so much window shopping anymore. Is that
Yeah.
what you're finding as well?
Yes, very much so. Very much so. There's such a small amount of inventory, so they have to be ready to buy, and that's kind of how I coach them. I'm like, okay, if you like something, you better go now because the buying power that you have with such low interest rates, and you have so many more buyers competing with that, you need to be able to be much more decisive. And they are because many have lost out properties to multiple offers, and that's what we're seeing so much more, almost like the 2004 time frame of the amount of homes with the interest rates in the competition.
So now people on the buying side, buyers that are more serious today, what's like a number one tip you'd give people for buying in today's market that's more important now than ever before?
Um, they need to know what's important to them about their new reality. Do they want to be in the city? Do they want to be in the suburbs? Do they need an office space bigger than before? That's the bigger thing that people are looking for, is either the outdoor space or the home office or home learning space. So they need to know what they want, and then when it comes on the market, they need to be pre-approved always, because that's so many people say, oh, well, I'll put that on the list. And once it goes on the list, they've lost the home. So yeah, they need to be really ready to go.
It seems like the advantage today with low inventory is on the seller side. Are there any tips you need to give sellers selling today in this market?
Yes, I do. The sellers feel very empowered now that there's so little inventory. But if they overprice even a little bit, the buyers have to, they come into the market, and the sellers have to be really concise, because this is a constricting market that we're in. And the buyers are like in a pool of sharks ready to pounce. And they're watching the price, they're watching all they sometimes the buyers know more homes on the market than even the sellers didn't even realize. And so what I tell the sellers, if we price it even a little bit over the market rate, the buyers they won't even come in, they won't look at it, they'll wait till it drops. So I tell them, really, we need to make a big splash. When we come onto the market, we have 3 weeks, since the month supply of inventory is 1 to 3 months, we only have 3 to 4 weeks to put the buyer into action. So if we miss that window, then we're having to go backwards and catch another wave of buyers.
That's sage advice. Terri, tell us how you got started in real estate, and what made you decide to be a realtor and a broker. What inspired you?
I really, my love for helping people. I went to college to be a radiology technologist, and the fast pace of being in the operating room and emergency room and having to make the decisions, in a split second, and accuracy kind of, led me to working with people later on in life, and the same kind of thing, having to ask questions, and nurturing and helping people is really my thing that I love. Buying and selling homes is much more complex for me. It's all about relationships.
Terri, for our folks listening today in the Chicagoland area that would love your help, how can they find you and connect with you?
They could connect with me on my website, Terri Theodore, terrytheodore.com, or my Berkshire Hathaway. I'm with Berkshire Hathaway, so they could look me up on my business page on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. I've Terri Theodore, Berkshire Hathaway real estate consultant.
This has been terrific, Terri. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to share with my audience, and I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
This segment's been brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where professionals and entrepreneurs publish to grow their businesses and to leave a legacy. That's all for now. Join me on my next Expert Spotlight. I'm Mark Imperial.